The new engine arrived next morning. "What is your name?" asked the Fat Controller kindly. "Montague, sir, but I'm usually called Duck. They say I waddle. I don't really, sir, but I like Duck better than Montague." "Good," said the Fat Controller. "Duck it shall be. Here, Percy, come and show Duck around." The two engines went off together.
Hello everyone. It's been quite a while since we looked at another engine in the collection, hasn't it? Well, today we'll be talking about an engine that a lot of people have been wanting me to talk about for a good while now. So we'll be taking a look at my custom of Duck, the Great Western engine. He's definitely a favorite custom of mine, and a very special one too, as he was the one who kinda made me want to continue making Trackmaster models down the line, and started this whole thing. So, let's start with his history. Montague, or more commonly known as Duck, is a Great Western Railway 5700 class pannier tank engine that was built in March 1929 and worked as a shunter in Paddington. He would be sent off to Sodor in 1955 to take over Percy's shunting duties, as Percy would head off to help with the construction of the harbor on Thomas's branch line. Though before that happened, Duck would have an encounter with three big engines that caused him grief. But Duck was having none of it, and soon set the engines in their place by holding a strike.
"Oh, beg pardon, sir, but I'm a Great Western engine. We Great Western engines do our work without fuss. But we are not ordered about by other engines. You, sir, are our controller. We will, of course, move if you order us. But begging your pardon, sir, Percy and I will be glad if you would inform these, engines that we only take orders from you."
Soon after, Duck would have many adventures along the way, as he would have an encounter with a devious diesel, a barber shop, and gaining his own branch line along the sunshiny coast of the Arlesborough branch. The Northwestern Railway's number 8 truly lived to the Great Western Way. My Duck model has gone through many changes over the years, and the version that I have now is actually my third version of him. Now I'll be going over each version of him. However, the first and second version don't really have much to talk about, as they really received minimal changes, while the final version received the most out of all of them. So I'll talk about the first two together, and then discuss the model I have now. The first model was built from a Trackmaster 2 Nia with very minimal edits to the body. The only real modifications done to the original was removing Nia's face, using hot glue and shaping it to make the front of the smoke box flush with the body, and repainting the entire model, albeit sloppily. I used this model for about a year, in which you may have seen in some older videos. However, I decided to revamp the model a bit, which now goes into my second version of the model, which barely have any changes to the original. All I really did was give it a new coat of paint, fixed up some of the numbering and lettering, and for some reason kept the face that was on the model originally. I actually ended up using this model a little bit more, with two of these instances being in my second Trackmaster short and a video called A Message from Duck. And that was the way Duck stayed for a few months. Well, until I decided he needed an update. So this time, I wanted him to be as accurate as I could to the show, so here's what I did. To start off, I wanted to fix his front, as it was pretty inaccurate to the prop. So what I did was remove the dip in the running board and save the front of it that wasn't curved, as it was just long enough without adding any cardboard to extend it forward, and then cut off that little piece that was on the bottom of the buffer beam. Afterwards, I gave him actual buffers instead of painting the molded ones, and as a bonus, it now looks like Duck has buffer housings. The one problem with this is that the buffers tend to fall off, but that could be due to me hot gluing them instead of super gluing them on. Duck also receives sandboxes just like his prop in the show, and before anyone says it, I know he has sandboxes right underneath the running board, but I'll probably add that in the future. Or not, I don't really mind. Speaking of underneath the running board, something I never thought to do was remove Nia's original pistons that were there, so I made sure to do it on this model. Also removed the original lamp that Nia had, and it looks great. For his face, I removed the hot glue that I used to mold the front and replaced it with pieces of cardboard. And I gotta say, once painted, he looks incredible. Speaking of the face, I was originally going to use his older face, but removing the face ended up with it being ripped up, so I had to make a brand new one for Duck, which I am very glad I did. I mainly based his face and honestly his entire model on the Season 3 version of Duck, with a little bit of my own tweaking to the face to make it my own style. Side note, Season 3 of Thomas is honestly one of my favorite seasons from the show. It's what I pretty much tried to base most of my models on. Maybe that could be a topic for a video in the future. Anyway, the rest of the body stayed the same, as I didn't really see anything that needed touching up. The Nia model pretty much resembles Duck in a lot of ways, though I do wish I removed these things near Duck's dome. Sorry, I don't know what those are called, as I didn't want to risk damaging the dome. And I wish I fixed up the bunker where the coal load is to make it a bit more accurate, but I really don't have any complaints with this model. Something I forgot to mention was I replaced his chassis, as I used the original Nia chassis but repainted the wheels black because I didn't really have any other chassis to use at the time. But when I got my hands on another James, I decided to switch them out and add my little detail I give to all the side rods. As for the paint, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't sloppily painted on this time and was accurate to the original prop. So I carefully worked on the detail and BAM! My Duck model is finished! He had accurate two-tone lining on both sides, a nicely painted number 8, painted cab windows, a repainted running board and buffer beams, repainted cab doors, and for fun, I also decided to give him a builder's plate. I may go ahead and change that in future though. Lastly, the back of Duck really didn't receive any other details besides a repainted buffer beam and painting the running board in the back white. Alright, now let's see him in action. There really isn't anything on my Duck model that I don't really like, as I'm pretty happy with the end result. But I will say I'm not really happy with his coal load and these things on his tanks, as I feel I could have done better. The same goes for the whistle, as it just looks terrible. Also, something that bugs me that I almost forgot to mention was that little thing on the cab. I don't know what it is, but the Nia model has it too, and I don't know why I never thought to fill it in. I may one day revamp my Duck model once more, as I'd like to fix up things I didn't like and also give him more accurate tanks, but that's a project for the future. And so that was my Duck model. Sorry for taking so long to make this episode. I know a lot of people have been wanting me to discuss the model. I've just been pretty busy and I've been working on new customs and many other videos that I'm planning to get out for the channel. Since it's summer, I'm hoping to pump out a lot more content and I want to try and work on more episodes for this series. But anyways, that's all from me. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye!